Hey, it's Josh Jacobs, and you're listening to Fantasy Football Counselor.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the Fantasy Football Counselor. We're talking about Fantasy Football Sleepers 2020. 7 solid running back sleepers to target in your 2020 draft. Excited to talk running backs. It's my favorite topic. I love talking running backs, and you gotta hone in on these sleepers. And here's the deal. Here's a little disclaimer when you're looking at running back sleepers. You don't really need any, because aside from 2 of these guys here that are coming off in the first 5 rounds, stick with me on this. You don't really need running back sleepers because you're loading up on running backs early, because everybody after round 5 to round 6 and on is a big question mark. Now, there's a ton of running backs that could break out this year. Trust me on this. DeAndre Swift could break out. He could be the main guy there in Detroit. You got other guys that could also break out. A.J. Dillon in Green Bay. You know, Aaron Jones gets hurt. A.J. Dillon in Green Bay could break out. Could be a guy that emerges, right? But I'm talking about running back sleepers here. Some targets that you can get mid to later. There's some good value guys here as well. But in the whole thought process in your mind is you shouldn't really be targeting too many late round running backs. You should be more focused on getting them early. And that's what I talk about my 16 round draft solution. So I'm going to get into this show here. I got 7 solid running back sleepers for you to target, with the thought process of going robust RB, okay? That's my disclaimer, but these guys could potentially break out. Before I get into this show, guys, I really appreciate it. Please smash a thumbs up. And, you know, we made this joke that every time you smash a thumbs up, Tim grows a hair because he's ugly. But anyway, long story short, guys, stick with me. We need the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Helps the channel. And a second thing, guys, get the 16-round draft solution. Very important, guys. It's going to help you guys crush your leagues. First ever and only video training. Forget the draft kits and cheat sheets. It's not really going to help you. It's not practical. With the 16 rounds, I give you all the optimal players to draft in each round and omit the guys that won't help you. Last year, I omitted Le'Veon Bell at the end of the first round. I said, stay away. Do not draft him there. Stay away from Antonio Brown second round. Stay away from Damian Williams second round. Stay away from Odell Beckham first round. So I do all of the research for you. Everything is there on a silver platter, 16 rounds at thefantasyfootballcounselor.com, or there's a link below. Make sure you guys get it. All right, first running back sleeper, a solid one you must target here. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't care because I want to hammer this home. The guy I'm talking about is David Johnson. This guy could easily be first-round talent, and I know a lot of people shake their head and say no. But listen, David Johnson had an amazing 2016 year. Phenomenal. 407 PPR points. And I memorize this because I'm memorizing all their stats now. All I do is fantasy football. It's crazy. I'm super passionate. 2020 is going to dominate, okay? You guys are going to dominate. Stick with me. But David Johnson here, I mean, amazing 2016 year. 20 all-purpose touchdowns, 16 on the ground, 4 receiving. Phenomenal year. 2017, fluke injury. A guy hit his wrist as he caught the ball. Was out pretty much. The year after, finished 9th in PPR amongst running backs. Not bad. And then back in 2019, Kingsbury screwed him. Wasn't his fault. Now he's on the Texans. Last year in 2019, Carlos Hyde actually ended up getting 240 plus attempts, over 1,000 yards, and I believe 6 touchdowns. That's Carlos Hyde, everybody, okay? So when you're looking at, I'm looking at it right now, 245 in attempts, 1,070 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, and he wasn't really involved in the passing game. That's okay. David Johnson can actually catch the ball. So if you look at a guy like Carlos Hyde who got that much volume, but Carlos Hyde sucked though in regards to fantasy production because he didn't even finish anywhere near the top. He finished like 30th amongst running backs in PPR. It's brutal. David Johnson's extremely talented, and the Texans believe in him. That reason alone should be enough, and there's no other running back that's going to take the volume away. Love David Johnson. No more Carlos Hyde there. And that's why I'm staying away from Chris Carson, because Carlos Hyde sucks, but he's good enough to take away volume from Chris Carson in Seattle. Stay away from Chris Carson. That's besides the fact, when you're talking about David Johnson, full workhorse running back, chip on his shoulder, angry that he got screwed by Kingsbury. He is a sleeper if you're looking at him as a 4th round guy who could actually be round 1, round 2 talent. Love him. Love the ceiling. Love the upside. Deshaun Watson, him. It's going to be an amazing connection, and he's going to be used as a pass catching running back as well. Love the talent. Second guy I want to talk about here, and you know, let's just get the Davids out of the way. But David Montgomery, love him. Average ADP, 5th round, sitting 25th. By the way, David Johnson was sitting 21st amongst running backs in overall ranking. This guy could finish top 5. David Montgomery sitting 25th amongst running backs. This guy could easily crack the top 10. He is working on his top end speed. I've already talked to a guy that knows David Montgomery personally, was in his condo, has been working with him, training with him. He's working on his top end speed. David Montgomery understands where he went wrong last year. He knows he was lacking explosiveness. He knows he's got to improve on that. We know Nagy's going to be on a short leash this year, not running the ball as much as he could have last year. But listen, man, David Montgomery finished 24th amongst running backs last season. 889 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, and 242 attempts. That's going to go up. I'm looking at a floor of 260 attempts, 1,000 yards easily, and 10 touchdowns on the ground as a floor for this guy. Top 15, finished with absolute ease, but the mainstream are sleeping on him. And another thing when I'm looking at him is there's no committee there. Tarik Cohen just is not going to be a guy that's going to get anything done there. Now, Tarik Cohen does well in regards to reception game, even though he doesn't catch very well. He gets those receiving targets. He had 104 last year. They know David Montgomery can catch. Hopefully he gets some of those receiving targets and dips into Tarik Cohen, but Cohen's not going to get attempts. He only had 64 rushing attempts, and I think Nagy knew he was an idiot for giving them those rushing attempts, because I watched last year. It was absolutely ridiculous. Tarik Cohen would come out 3rd and 1, and they'd run Tarik Cohen up the middle. He'd lose 5 yards. Stupidity. So David Montgomery, love him as a sleeper, coming at number 2. Number 3 here, guys. Again, no particular order, but when you are looking at running backs, I try to avoid the sleeper running backs because, again, I'm loading up on running backs early, and David Montgomery and Dave Johnson could be part of that robust RB strategy early on. As you get later, you get a lot of question marks. So as I move on here, be cautious with these guys. Maybe get him as a late round guy. If you got 2 or 3 running backs, you want that 4th or 5th running back, you can get these guys, and the ceiling is high. As a late round guy for free, pretty much. Now, the next guy isn't going to be free. He's 30th amongst overall, right, amongst running backs. And you've got Nick Chubb sitting at 8th, but the guy I'm talking about is Kareem Hunt, okay? Sitting 26th in PPR, actually. My bad. 26th in PPR amongst running backs right now. That's terrible. This guy could easily be, in the top 20 if Nick Chubb gets hurt. Now, here's the deal, and the logic I don't understand here, okay? Something that doesn't make sense. You've got Nick Chubb sitting at 8th amongst running backs, okay? The thing is, he's coming off at the end of the first round, early second. But you're getting a guy in Kareem Hunt that outscored Nick Chubb 6 out of the 8 games in PPR at the end of the 2019 season. So what doesn't make sense to me, guys, it's racking my mind is why would you invest a first round pick on Nick Chubb, end of first round, early second even, when you can get Kareem Hunt if you really want a Cleveland Brown that bad? I'm staying away because I'm looking at a 60-40 split at a minimum with Nick Chubb getting 60 or maybe even a 50-50 split. But in PPR, Kareem Hunt's going to get those receptions. I'm going to go ahead and stay away from this entire situation. But if you are looking for a sleeper, why not get, Kareem Hunt in like the 6th, 7th round whenever he's going, right? I haven't even looked at his ADP. I just did a mock draft. I have it in front of me here. Yeah, he's coming off, like 6th, 7th round, pretty much. I got him here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even as late as 8th round. So round 6 to 8. Why would I not just get Kareem Hunt instead of getting Nick Chubb? And I know you'll say, Nick Chubb's a pure runner, this and that. Listen, the fact of the matter is Kareem Hunt will not be ignored. He's not going to be on the bench. He's going to be a thorn in the side of Nick Chubb. Stay away from Nick Chubb. And if you want a deeper sleeper or a mid-round sleeper, get Kareem Hunt, okay? That's coming in at number 3. Number 4 here, Cam Akers. This guy's currently sitting 30th amongst running backs. That's insane. He's out of Florida State. He had a terrible O-line, 231 attempts, 1,144 yards, 14 touchdowns. This guy was a beast in college, okay? Now, the thing you got to look at here is the Darrell Henderson situation. Darrell Henderson did nothing there. So it's going to be a committee battle. The hot hand will prevail, and I think it's going to be Cam Akers because he was a top 5, top 6 prospect coming into the NFL draft. Obviously, the Rams do not believe in Darrell Henderson. Cam Akers is there. It could be an immediate impact. You get this guy in the 4th, 5th round. Great value. People are sleeping on him. And this guy could be a top 10, top 15 finisher if given the volume. And he can catch the ball. He had 30 receptions last year at college, okay, for 225-ish receiving yards. 5'10", 215, good build. He's going to be solid, okay? So Cam Akers is a guy you could target and will be solid for you. Moving on here, number 5, let's go with Alexander Madison. This guy is 49th amongst running backs, which is an absolute steal. This guy's going to be the starting running back in Minnesota probably by midseason when Dalvin Cook goes down, and he will again because Dalvin Cook has not finished the season. And here's the thing. A lot of people say to me, well, what's so special about Madison? Madison is actually better than Dalvin Cook or equal to. The reason Cook is really good is because he's a product of that offense. Now, if you look at the attempts here, he had 100 attempts last year, had just over 400 yards, right? Almost 500 yards. Cook had 250 attempts, so more than double, and had around 1,100 yards. So if you look at the way that is, if you double the attempts for Madison, you would have had just as much volume in regards to fantasy points just as much fantasy points as Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's not special, and he hasn't finished the season. There's no way in hell am I investing a top 5 pick on Dalvin Cook when I get Madison later as a steal for free, right? And I can get like Derrick Henry or Saquon in the top 5 picks or whatever it is, and then get Madison later, right? And a lot of people say, well, why don't you go Dalvin Cook and get Madison later as a handcuff? No. Why not get Derrick Henry, who's going to stay on the field, knock on wood, and get Madison later when Cook goes down, and he will. You could just get Madison. Now you've got 2 RB1s. Instead of Cook goes down, now you've got 1 RB1. Madison's a sleeper. Everyone is sleeping on him. Absolutely love him. 2 more running backs coming in at 6. Joshua Kelly. Listen, I'm not sold on Eckler being the workhorse running back. Last year, yes, he finished well in PPR, but he only had 132 attempts. There's a reason why the Chargers went with Joshua Kelly here. Listen, he's out of UCLA, 5'11", 212 pounds. And he was a pretty good workhorse in college. Last year, 229 attempts, 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns on the ground. And he catches the ball. Not as good as Eckler, obviously, but he can catch the ball if needed. Not known as a pass-catching back. But Joshua Kelly's a guy you can get for free as a late-round sleeper that could emerge. You know, Melvin Gordon's gone. This guy's going to possibly get work. I'm not sold on Jackson being there, and I'm not sold on Eckler being a true workhorse running back. Consider grabbing Joshua Kelly late. And the last guy here is Zach Moss in Buffalo. Listen, 5'9", 205, was a workhorse in college as well. 235 attempts, 1,416 yards, a ton of touchdowns. I believe 15 touchdowns, 28 receptions. He can catch the ball in the backfield. Zach Moss is talking about going Moss mode. Moss mode, kind of like beast mode, but Moss mode. Listen, fact of the matter is I like this guy. I like him as a late round guy, stashed on the bench as a potential upside guy. I think he's going to be coming down on 3rd downs, maybe even getting the starting job if he plays hard. Singletary has not been a full workhorse running back. I loved Singletary prior to the acquisition of and the drafting of Zach Moss. I'm going to stay away from this situation with Singletary, drafting him in the 3rd or 4th round. Not going to invest that in Singletary. But as a late round guy, why not Zach Moss as a late round potential breakout guy? Similarly, you can look at A.J. Dillon the same type of way, right? These guys are coming in because they probably don't want to pay other guys, running backs like Aaron Jones, for example, in Green Bay. They don't want to pay him that big contract when they're due, when they can get guys that they can get in the 2nd or 3rd round. They're drafting them, right? These teams, so they don't have to pay, and they can groom these other guys to be the workhorse running backs. Because we know the running backs, their shelf life is, limited. These guys get hurt, so why invest the mega contract in a guy when I can get some guy who could potentially perform better and drop the other guy ahead of him, like Aaron Jones could be dropped for A.J. Dillon, okay? So there you have it, guys. David Johnson, David Montgomery, Kareem Hunt, Cam Akers, Alexander Madison, Joshua Kelly, Zach Moss, 7 solid running back sleepers you could target with massive upside. But again, you don't really want to be targeting sleepers at the running back position. You want to be loading up on those workhorses with those guaranteed production in the first 3 to 4 rounds. And I talk about that in my 16-round draft solution, so make sure you guys get it below. Thank you for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Fantasy Football Sleepers 2020 at the running back position. 7 solid ones for you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and smash the thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video.